The Miami Heat just beat a Eastern Conference rival in a high-scoring affair, 125 to 120. I'm here to break down how significant of a win this really is, as well as what to expect going forward from this Miami Heat team with just 24 games remaining in this NBA season. I'll break it all down on this episode of Miami Heat Digest. But first, remember, if you're a part of the 85.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, scroll down, click the subscribe button. It means the world to us. And to stay up to date on everything Miami Heat, we do appreciate it. So thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down what's next for Miami. Now, did we win last night? Yes. Did we beat the Indiana Pacers 125 to 120? Yes, we did. And that win will be substantial later down the line for a handful of reasons. But right now, we are currently sitting in the 7th seed. Indiana is currently in the 5th seed, and we are currently a few games behind the 6th seed in the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Pistons have been rolling as of late, 8-2 over their last 10, with a lot of them coming in a row. I believe they're in a 6-game win streak right now. No, they just lost, but they were on a 5 or 6 game win streak just before that recent loss. And again, teams are getting hot at the right times. The Miami Heat need to be one of those teams who get hot. Like I mentioned in the intro, we only have a roughly 24 games remaining, and there are a few, and when I say a few, I mean a few legitimate tests in these final games for this Miami Heat team. And really, what should we expect? Now, currently sitting in the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, I will say we have surpassed not only Orlando, but as well as Atlanta. And when I say surpassed, they have also fell off a bit of a cliff in the sense that they have fallen off in the sense of the ability to put wins together in a row. And because of that, we've been able to really correct our differences. And now we sit a half game ahead of Orlando, as well as a game and a half ahead of Atlanta, which is huge because they are our in-division rivals. So we definitely want to beat at least those guys. But now we look at the rest of the Eastern Conference race. If we cannot continue to win important and substantial games, we are not going to be able to really make a push at a playoff run, and really the idea of not being in the play-in tournament for what? The 4th year in a row. So again, there are going to be some tests, but there are some games where we absolutely have to roll and have to win these games in order to take advantage of what we have remaining. Now, in that game against Indiana, we saw a lot of what we have normally seen all season long from this Miami Heat team. Tyler Hero leading the way with Bam Adebayo being the complementary piece next to him, as well as Kellan Ware playing his role, being the rebounder that we so desperately needed. And again, not only do we see him have 12 rebounds in the box score, but if we go to the game-by-game stats, in the team comparisons, we won the rebounding battle by 9 overall, 39 to 30. And then if we look at it, breaking down offensive to defensive, defensively 27 to 21 in our favor, and then offensive rebounding 12 to 9 in our favor once again. And to correlate with that, if we look at the second chance points, we whooped their behind, 6 to 18 in favor of the Miami Heat. And when you have 12 more points on offensive rebound opportunities, second and third chance opportunities, usually you have a much better chance to win a ball game compared to a team who can't rebound the ball much better than you guys can. And again, we've been preaching that on this channel for a long time, and that's why we wanted to see Kellan Ware play more minutes. It seems like with the record and the run that Kellan Ware has been on, he has a legitimate chance to win that Rookie of the Year award, which would be so substantial, not only to him personally, but to this Miami Heat organization. I will say Davion Mitchell made a very, very clutch three-point shot near the end of the game to give him his 10th point of the game. For overall, he had 10, 8, and 3 rebounds with a steal and a block. This guy is going to be a Miami Heat player for a long time. I genuinely believe that after being acquired in the Jimmy Butler trade from Toronto, I don't believe Miami, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra are going to do anything, and they will do everything and anything in their power to make sure he maintains in a Miami Heat jersey for a long, long time. But the biggest thing out of this win on this box score is by far and away Duncan Robinson. If you look down, he's the first man off the bench, and he had a 20-point game. And you might be saying Houston only had 20 points. Well, look at his shooting percentages. He shot 80% from the field, 8 of 10, 4 of 6 from behind the three-point line without attempting a free throw. He produced 20 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal, and a plus-minus of even. Now, usually when you have an even plus-minus, it's not the greatest thing, but when Duncan Robinson scores 20 or more points, the Miami Heat are now 47-12 all time. Duncan Robinson is going to be a key to this Miami Heat team going down these stretch of these last 20 plus games of the NBA season. I really hope we continue to use Duncan in really a six-man type of role and give him a lot of minutes coming off the bench where he does fit in with so many different really lineups in really different ways that they or Eric Spoelstra decides to run this team. Now, in the hopes of playing Duncan more in that six-man role, it seems like Terry Rozier, someone who had just played in the first time in 3 games for this Miami Heat team, didn't do a lot. He only played in 11 minutes. He shot 2 of 5 from the field, producing 4 points, 3 assists, and a rebound. And overall, he hasn't been great for this Miami Heat team. And it's starting to feel like, and it's starting to get to the point where it's just clear as day that it's just not going to work for this Miami Heat team with Terry Rozier. If we look at his box scores as of late, if you go back, he had back-to-back 20-point games, but if you notice the dates, 2-4, 2-5 back-to-back games, 2-7, not missing one, 2-10 again, but then there's a 11-day stretch where he does not play, then he comes back on that 11th day against the Toronto Raptors, misses a game, comes back and plays, and then he misses a few games, and he misses 3 games actually, and then he comes back and plays against the Indiana Pacers. Again, very spotty in where he's getting his minutes. It doesn't feel like Eric Spoelstra is really a believer in this Terry Rozier type of program, if you will. I believe he will be out this offseason. If I was a betting man and I was putting money on this, I would say he's not a Miami Heat player next season. It's going to be interesting what they have to do to move that contract and really who's going to be willing to take him, as it seems like that gambling operation and really allegedly gambling on himself, whatever may be happening behind the scenes, again, they are still investigating. It looks like it might be playing a bit more of a role or toll on Rozier than we expected it to do. As again, it seemed like he was, based off the NBA's investigation, considered innocent. Again, allegedly the NBA did investigate, nothing was found, but again, it seems like now the FBI and other government organizations are now investigating, which is a very, very serious thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It seems like it's taking much bigger of a toll on Rozier than we anticipated, but now we progress and we move on. As again, he has not been a substantial factor to this Heat team for a while. But now, really, what are we talking about? So, Rozier not being a factor, Duncan Robinson, 47-12 record when he scores 20 or more. I believe he's going to have to be a legitimate piece to this Miami Heat team going forward. Now, Andrew Wiggins, Jovic, and Larson did not play last night, which, again, is huge because we're still able to beat a team in the Indiana Pacers who are, again, sitting above us in the Eastern Conference race. This race is a bit more spread out now because of our inability to really put some wins together. We have now won 2 in a row, but everyone else, it feels like, is continuing to roll. Again, Detroit is rolling. We were able to beat Indiana. Here's the thing. I do not fear Indiana. I don't fear Milwaukee, and I don't fear Detroit for this Miami Heat team. If we're able to get any of those teams, and maybe even New York because of the fatigue factor, I think we have a legitimate chance to make a run here. And I know you may be thinking, Houston, this is bullshit. No, it's not. The way we play, their ability to now rebound the basketball with someone like Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware playing alongside one another, and the offensive threats as well as those both 2 players, as well as Duncan coming off the bench, and others like Tyler Hero and, again, Wiggins. I think we have a legitimate chance to make a run and make anyone's life hard that is listed above us outside of Boston and Cleveland. Those 2 teams look like they are by far and away the 2 of the best teams in the entire NBA, and they're going to have a legitimate shot to win an NBA championship. But again, 3 through 6, it's fair game in the Eastern Conference, and I think the Miami Heat have a legitimate chance to go on a run here, possibly catch a team that slips up, like Milwaukee, like Indiana, if they cannot continue to put wins together in these last 20 to 25 games of the NBA season. Let me know down below, what are your predictions? Where do we find ourselves when the Game 82 officially ends? Are we in the play-in? Are we in the seeds 1 through 6? Who would you like to see in the first round of the playoffs? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest.